Hello, Joe Chiron here for remote certification training. Today, I'm going to be going over Lab 8, breaking into an armored cable. So the first thing, we want to do a little safety here, and we want to make sure that we protect our eyes. So safety glasses will do that. You want to keep the fiber out of your eyes. Now, we're not going to be exposing bare fiber today per se with this particular lab, but it's always good to have your eyes protected when you're working with tools. So the tools that we're going to be using for this lab, you're going to use your electrical tape, your round cable slitter, your utility knife, your seam ripper, your needle nose pliers, and your Kevlar scissors. They are the tools that you're going to be using. Okay, get these out of our way, and then here's our cable. So here we go. First thing you do when you pick up your cable, you want to take a look at it because there's a bunch of markings on it. And in this particular fiber, there's a telephone on here, so that'll give us an indication that it's telecommunications cable. The manufacturer's name is on here, so it's fiber, from a specific manufacturer. Then you'll have a date code 02-2011. So this is 9-year-old fiber. You go a little ways, and then there is a 17,725 feet. So that's a foot marking. So that's basically telling you how much, what foot marking we are at this. Foot markings are done every 2 feet, and if it was in meters, it would be every meter. And that's basically just like some information that you want to look at on your fiber to make sure you know what you're working with. The black jacket will indicate that it's for outdoor use because that's UV protected. And we know that this particular fiber is armored because we know we bend it and it will kind of keep its shape there. So imagine this fiber in the field. We have to break into this end and the fiber runs out all the way like a mile that way. There are rip cords in here, and we're going to expose those rip cords, and then we're going to pull the rip cords, and that's going to split open the outside jacket and the armor so we can get into the fiber. But the first thing that what I need to do is I got to simulate that fiber being, a mile out that way. So I'm going to open up this fiber and get the strength members that were the rip cords. I'm going to tape them and make an anchor point. That way, when I go and expose and open this end and I pull back, it's not going to pull the rip cords out. So we're going to get our cable stripper here, the blade exposed, about 6 to 8 inches. Push your tool in and then ring. You go around. What you're doing is you're scoring, going through the jacket, and you're scoring the armor. You break it and you bend it. And you got to hear that little pop. It slides right off. So that's the jacket and the armor. You can see here we have our exposed rip cord, and there's 2 rip cords in this fiber, and a second rip cord. What we're going to do is we're going to run that back down here. We're going to get our electrical tape. And what we're going to do is we're going to tape that. And this is going to lock this in place so it doesn't pull out. And the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to run the Kevlar strength member back up on itself, and that makes an extra strong anchor point. And then you bring your electrical tape back down. Done. So it'll look like that. Now we're going to flip over. We're going to get our ring tool again, or slitter. And we're going to slit this again. And we're going to score the armor and the jacket. We're going to bend it till it snaps. You hear that click. Snaps. Pull it off again. Exposed our rip cords. So now what we're going to do to get into that is we're going to get our utility knife and we're going to make a notch right in front of that ripcord. What that's going to do, it's going to give us like a little starting position when we go and we pull the ripcord through there. Now what I like to do is I like to get our needle nose pliers, and I want to wrap the ripcord up, and it almost makes like a T-pulling tool, and then you're going to pull that, and it's what it's doing. It's going through the armor as well as the jacketing. And we're going to strip this down. Then you have to rewrap it because you get more exposed. We're going to continue going down. We do about 2 feet or so. Stop there. Flip it over. Make another notch in your cable, making sure not to cut the strength member. Get that started. Wrap up your strength member again and pull down. And wrap it again. And you want to pull it to about the same spot that you pulled your other one to, so they're even. Sometimes it slips on you. This happens. So don't worry about it. Just roll it back up again. And pull it down. There we go. So now what you'll notice is basically it just splits it in half. Okay? You can see here you have your outside jacket, and the green inside there is your armor. So it just split that right in half and made it very easy to work on. Now what you want to do is bend this out of the way. Get your needle nose that have a cutting edge on them. You want to cut this out of your way here. That's 1. 2. Now from the safety standpoint, you got armor exposed there. Well, you can also cut off your strength member. You're not going to need that, or your pulling strings. Get some of your electrical tape. Tape over that area so you don't inadvertently cut yourself. So if you cut yourself with this, it's a little painful. Okay. Now what you have here is you have exposed, you have some fillers in here. These strings, you cut them away. They're used in the manufacturing process of the cable. You have this, what appears to be a cloth in here. It's actually used, this stuff helps with absorbing the water. If water gets into the cable, it swells and it stops the water from ingressing any further. Cut that off. You can see here there's this string here that is kind of keeps that on. You got to get that out of your way. Unravel it. Cut that off. Bring your cloth in. You can cut that. Now you've exposed the fiber here, and you can see there's more strings on here. To get them off, the easiest way is you get your handy seam ripper. You go down to the base here. You cut those away. You got to get them all. Once they're all gone, they just pull right off. Very simple. So now what we have exposed here, we have your fiber here and some fillers. So in this case, Just spin this and it opens up all the way down. And you can see there's an orange tube and a blue tube. They're your two fiber tubes. And there's the start of your color code, blue and orange. And inside each one of these are 12 fibers. You have 3 black plastic solid pieces. You can cut them off. They're fillers. They're not needed. Don't accidentally cut your fibers. Inside here, you also have center strength member, which is made of fiberglass. This is used when you're going into enclosures. You'll cut this to a certain length based on the enclosure you're using. You will put it inside and then it will be anchored down so the fiber doesn't pull out. In this case, you're not going to need it. So you can get your needle nose, cut that off. Done. So now you have your fiber. You've broken into an armored cable and you expose the 2 buffer tubes with your fiber in it. We will be using this in a future lab, our buffer tube fan out kit. But as far as this lab is complete. You've broken into an armored jacketed cable.